Trojan Pelly. What's up, man? USCJ here. It's the top of the morning. Listen, I hope everybody is getting ready to get up, get out, and make some things happen this morning. Listen, Lincoln Riley, I believe, is making a statement, absolutely trying to move and groove on the recruiting trail. We want to talk about that real briefly. Happy Saturday to everybody, man. Listen, we about to get this college football weekend rolling. But listen, I got to address this because Lincoln Riley intentionally made major moves yesterday going out. I believe with all my heart that Lincoln Riley absolutely is hearing the chatter, especially as it relates to the California recruits, Southern California recruits at that, but California as a whole. I believe that he hears the chatter, and as a result, that he's making an assertive effort to try to move and groove in the California area. So yesterday we saw he went to probably about 4 schools, and I got a little information I wanted to share with you. No, excuse me, not 4, probably like 10 schools. And I don't know how he did this. He probably, I don't know if he had a helicopter. I don't know what he had. But to move and groove through the traffic like that, that was impressive. That shows you that, look, he's making an assertive effort and an intentional effort because, we got guys that are playing all across rosters in college football. And some of these guys can absolutely be at USC. Now, let me do away with the notion that he hasn't recruited Southern California at all. We wouldn't have guys like Josh Holland, who's currently committed. He's at St. John Bosco. Of course, guys like Xavier Jordan, that's with us now. Marcellus Williams, that's from St. John Bosco. But yes, it could be better. I can agree with that. It could be better. And I'll say this, that it's not just St. John Bosco. It's not just Modern Day, and not just Sierra Canyon. It's more schools all across Southern California. I've been saying this for a long time now. You guys know, those who've been rocking with me for a couple of years, when Louisville had that class where they got all those kids from Inglewood High School, they were absolutely moving and grooving. And Louisville signed a bunch of those guys. Was some of that stuff NIL driven? Maybe, but I don't know that USC was absolutely going after all those guys, but they had some phenomenal things that they're doing at Inglewood High School, and they still are. Inglewood is absolutely, they're building something there. And we got to look at schools like that. We got to, of course, continue to look at schools like Sarah, Long Beach Poly. You got kids that are sprinkled around all across Southern California, especially that you can go to. Even schools like Dorsey, you just can't skip even the small schools. You got schools, and I hear a lot of people make reference to Pete Carroll. I don't like comparing Lincoln Riley to Pete Carroll because I believe it's a whole different era, and the era is the NIL era. It's a totally different game. So to me, it's not fair comparing guys like Lincoln Riley to a guy like Pete Carroll. You can't even expect some of the same results. But what I do think is you could be intentional about trying to recruit Southern California and about trying to go after some of these guys. And I'm excited about it because I talked to a parent. His kid is moving and grooving. His kid is at Bosco, and I'm gonna tell you guys this: there are a lot of kids that are at Bosco. There are a lot of kids that are at Modern Day. I also talked to a parent who's at Modern Day, and this is what one of them told me. One of them told me this. They said, Jay, you and I, we grew up in Southern California. And he said, you know how we looked at USC. You know how we view USC. He said, why wouldn't we want our kids to go to USC? Why wouldn't we want our kids, to be able to fly to USC? I mean, be able to drive to USC and, just to be able to have that easy access. We want our kids to go to USC, but at the same time, we want the coaching staff to come after them. And so I think that's what we're dealing with right now. And I think I think Lincoln Riley is really understanding that. And here's what I'm going to say about this. USC has to hire somebody, I believe, that's very familiar with the Southern California area and with the California area as a whole. I think you need, not only do I think you need somebody to just specifically for California. California has enough talent within that state that you don't have to really focus on a whole lot. And I'm going to talk about that because I believe that you go after the best player. Let me say this real quick, and I'm going to talk about California. I believe that you go after California players, but I believe that you go after the best talent. You don't pass up on talent like Xavier Griffin out of the state of Georgia. Absolutely not. I love Xavier Griffin. You don't pass up on talent like Cameron Fountain. Absolutely not. That is a no. That is a no. You get the best talent first overall. And a lot of people like to say Pete Carroll. Well, Pete Carroll, he went and got Keith Rivers out of the state of Florida, right? He went and got Mike Williams out of Tampa, Florida, right? Nelson Aguilar, state of Florida. Buck Allen, state of Florida. Dwayne Jarrett, New Jersey. You got guys that came from all over. Even Lofa Tatupa. He's Massachusetts by way of, well, he has family from California, but you got guys all over the country that Pete Carroll would absolutely go after. Remember Emmanuel Moody out of the state of Texas? He got him. He was the number one running back in the state of Texas. It's nothing new getting Texas running backs. Emmanuel Moody, Ronald Jones. I mean, we've had Texas running back. Aka Cedric Ware. I can go on and on and on about the players USC's had out of state. But the primary focus is you just don't want to neglect California. That has to be the primary focus. And so I think that Leaky Riley now, the thing is, he went to go see modern day head coach. You guys see the thumbnail, the picture with modern day head coach absolutely going out there moving and grooving with him. And I salute Leaky Riley because, you can't destroy relationships with the local guys. You just cannot do it. And modern day, particularly modern day, this was this crazy stat that came out by Max Prep yesterday as it relates to modern day high school. Modern day high school is 105 record wise, 105-5 since 2016. All 5 of those losses came against league rivals St. John Bosco. Now, I want you guys to think about that. St. John Bosco was the only team to really defeat modern day high school. Mind you, they beat up on modern day high school, went to Duncanville, Texas, and smacked them up real good. That's when they had Raleigh Brown, Damani Jackson, and all those guys. And so they beat up on them bad. And so, and that was flying to Texas and do that. Don't forget that. And so don't forget they beat up on IMG Academy. So you're talking about the best talent going against the so-called best talent in other states. Modern day high school, St. John Bosco, clearly the number 1 and 2 schools in the country, producing the most talent. And if they could beat them in high school, they could beat them in college. You just got to recruit those players. And that's what it all comes down to. Don't forget, St. John Bosco went to Allen, Texas, beat up on them, beat up on Miami Central. Was it last year, year before? So you got the talent here. You just got to go out and get them. But at the same time, on the flip side, you just got to manage your roster, your talent right when you're talking about recruiting, because you want to get the best players overall. And yeah, it's not going to always be the California players. It's going to be a little bit of hair sprinkled in there and a little bit sprinkled there if you want to talk about Pete Carroll, because Pete Carroll, yes, he absolutely went after other guys as well. But his primary roster was made up of California players. So we got to acknowledge that, and we got to be real about that. And I think if the fact that Leaky Riley has gone to modern day high school and he's gone all over Southern California yesterday, I just think that it's the beginning of something. And the fact that some coaches from modern day high school, I think that made them happy. The fact that they posted that on their social media, I think that made them happy. And I think, listen, this is the beginning of reestablishing something new when you're talking about getting these guys. And so, look, man, you guys can hit me in the comment section. You guys can tell me what you think. Also, I know a guy at St. John Bosco currently now that's committed to UCLA. And I think USC has a real opportunity, to possibly flip him. But we got to get on him. We got to be on him hard, man. Seen it Lay. I'm lost in the sauce with names. Forgive me. But he's a big time edge rusher, and he's 6'6", 230 pounds. And look, USC can absolutely pick him up, man, and get him, man. I think that he's a big body. He's a Cameron Fountain type size. And right now, I think he's currently ranked number 10 rusher overall in the country. And I think USC has an opportunity to go ahead and move and groove and try to move on him. I know for a fact that he was contacted by Leaky Riley 4 weeks ago. So Leaky Riley clearly understands the mission, and he clearly understands what's at hand and trying to establish this relationship And I was told that he doesn't even want to leave the state of California. That's why he's committed to UCLA. So if USC could just absolutely move and groove on him, hopefully we could try to swing in that direction. So hit me in the comments, man. You guys can tell me what you think. Forgive me for butchering names, man. You guys know I just be lost in the sauce. But until later on, listen, I'm out of here, man. Happy Saturday to everybody, man. Don't forget, get up, get out, and make some things happen. Until later on, I'm out. Fight on, fight on, fight on.